mentoring some communities and cutting loopholes in the Kano franchise, Kano, Katsina, I think Jigawa, 3 states that Kano covers. And with technology, you see, it makes life easier. Because all the loopholes, we have all this NEPA 3, NEPA 2, NEPA 4, you would realize that a whole community, while they enjoy power supply, the revenue from the community is not going to the company. It's going, it helps cause corruption, going to all these NEPA 2 who are not even staff, or some of the staff conniving to. So when the systems are there and they are driven in a transparent manner, it helps to even serve the community better and also drives revenue for the company to do what they do best, which is provide energy for their customers. So smart meters and all this also has been enacted finance and for private if systems are in place, schools, small business, and then I can imagine how you teach computers in schools that don't have power. I don't know how that right to ensure that all these things require systems that ensures that energy is served to not only the cost, also to the rural communities. So another example, Kenya's pay as you go, we have Kendall, which energy access is delivered twice, and household pays small amounts and build its history. So these are some of the confluence of technology together to create the value, the community for the individuals to thrive. So this is ESG is working as a system. Social inclusion is ensured. Governance through data and account is guaranteed. Please, next slide. So energy transition moves faster institution. So you cannot. I remember a book. One of my Efosa Ejomo. Efosa Ejomo works with Professor Clay Christensen. They wrote the book Prosperity Paradox. And the interesting thing, one of the faults of fail is, you just go into a community shoes, then you start giving them shoes. But to go down to the to know, is it shoes that they need or they need something else? So there is one that is told that they went into a community. It's you people don't have water, you have to travel, and they provide bowls. Everything got spoiled. And when they now started thinking, what is it for this thing to get spoiled so fast, so quick? And they discovered that for to go distance to that is what allows them to meet, talk, today, those kind of social construct. You could just, how could this kind of social construct play in this kind of scenario? And also the women it as a means to relieve themselves chores. At least they go to the stream, they meet their fellow women, they stress relief for them. So when we found our institution and our technology form, if you don't put that vision or any other thing we're trying to, is supposed to operate, but it doesn't at the. So when we look at ESG as an operating system for energy transition, we want to reframe what we call ESG. So we say E, system integrity. So we have to look at how is our energy system and our emissions. We have integrity. That is where now we're looking at carbon credit system. We want to know what are you really reducing consumption in the traditional way, or you just are pulling numbers and greenwashing around. So at the S is what we are building. Is it to people? Is it affordable? Is it not? Is it gender? Is it something that female, girls, boys could? Does it create and enhance people's livelihood? We're reframing our ESG in terms of how we all have credibility and money on how, just look at, give you a simple money into revamping our refineries. For years, but there's no capital discipline. I know a private company in Dangote comes in and everything seems to the governance side of it, how we are putting into this project judiciously. And there is some across it. So ESG is not just like Dr. Maya said, was true. It's a decision framework that coordinates data, policy, place. Thinking we want to turn energy and business for us is that it links technology and with community. Even before capital is deployed, verification and accountability. So when these are in place, that will have we'll move away from energy poverty, turn our ambition into.
Thank you, Karen. Session that we need for ESG are almost, if not even more, the framework itself. And I thought it was when it gave the example of it's a meeting point. I mean, we'll do ESG, which is something we say at your community, your influence, the needs. Any questions, just put them. Dr. Maya's privately just responding to everyone. Have any questions, any comments as we get ready, breakout sessions that will be up. So just put in your questions. We'll have the press come on. You'll talk us. We'll go into the breakout for the capstone. Let's get ready for that. And if you, thank you so much. Thank you for, I see Praise laughing at the as well. And one of the conversations I'd been on a Saturday, and I'm curious would be devoted and because personally I had that conversation with my partner to say yes, I think I'll let him talk about his response. So if you have any questions in the chat, I'll put you in the Tech for Good digital juggernaut is a global citizen. Okay, I see Temi's passion not only for people, passion for Africa. Africa, you might is one person who Jack Bada is across the world and coming back into Africa because we can't build Africa from most times we have people saying Africa is that, but you're not even the Korokbe and people for their change. And when you change, you need to know that someone fighting the bus conductor, the nuances, which is one thing that's shown on the climbs of Africa. So in Tech for Good Africa, we typically would say the really never dries. And if you've added any point is one of the fine African minds, share the difference they can make in the world. And then speak minds, raising leaders and ladies and gentlemen, the press Tech for Good Africa.
Thank you so much. That would be so much, Olamide, and so excited to see 85 people this boot camp and the boot camp. And I can see how amazing speaking. Well, thank you so much, Maya. Things outside of this, so much stuff. And just to add this, we do ESG in tech, and but thank you guys for joining in. I just want to see in the chat how we boot camp so far. Today's day one, so being just our speakers, some of the exciting things about how, it was an introduction session. Olamide is also going to come back and do something great so far. I'm feeling excited. For me, awesome. Feeling energized much. Mary at Otemi says it's Valentine's season. Let's throw love all over the point in the chat. How are we feeling energized? It's 6 weeks that we're going to be together. I think my time here is just to some of the things that will be happening in the next 6 Tech for Good Africa and what we do, and then I'll let from there for the next. So much fun. All right, let me just share my screen real quick. I can't wait to change Africa from the lens of this amazing, great insights, despisers. Thank you. This has been engaging so far. So much, all of you guys for just sharing feedbacks. Okay, all right. Let me show. I have a presentation somewhere. Let me find. Okay, so what I had before I came on, some of the young people that have we're talking about how people can get into green career. I thought before I came. Okay, where is my sharing button? Okay, please confirm you can see. Yeah, can everyone see my screen? Some emojis. Right. I know they've run through some of these parts. let me just go straight into what is. So, Tech for Good Africa started in 2019. After 2020, we finished the youth Twitter for youths to come out there and do what they did. And after it, the notion and the technology did not go for. Apart from that, technology for the world, um, not grasping what we're seeing people going into tech just to make money as a toy. So is either how is tech going to we're talking really shoes saw tech as a toy or as a means of just gaining fast. So we're not seeing tech. So and finally, whether it's SMEs, business to the skills for technology was missing. And so Tech for Good Africa. And we're going to use it to be able to get people to do more good on the earth using technology. Before that, we hadn't always and Echo Africa were the way we measure Africa's economy. But to get people to grasp and even to see how a technology and see new type of technology, Tech for Good Africa, to be able to showcase that applications we're building. So in Tech for Good Africa, we're through technology, sustainability, our local problems. So what are we? We're Impact, and how we do this is we different type of unique technology, even our to be do leadership here, which is training you for or you're just starting as a basic ambassador and then becoming a leader. Well, how do we have more technology? I was driving and I saw a bill here, not from Nigeria. Some people are from solar energy, but the person on the billboard was Ramsinua, and I thought, why is of um really mean that we don't have leadership in renewables, that when people see that person on the that. So we're very big on leadership and how our leaders or make people become impact. If you know me, I talk impact, I don't talk numbers, I don't want to see big, and those two people change the world. I want to see five people come together as a community, made some huge impact that whatever it is we're doing, it's ESG in tech as you participate in it. Another as a force for sustainability, inclusion. We're building in Africa, making sure we're building civic tech that is focused on civic. And the unique way we do framework called E equals MD cube, as MC squared, which is the background for it. And if you know how it works, is that E equals MC is equals to mass and capacity that's outside your house to charge your laptop. It's not Tech for Good Africa also believe is to understand the consumption of tech in that city or a location or a company, or understand how tech is affecting you. So as either energy, you want to understand energy am I consuming or putting out there. Educational part, you be also be looking at how the energy, media, the data, the design and digitalization, whether it's a startup, whether it's a business, my city, my nation, and with broad view of your nation, how do I do tech for this formula? So what is the energy? Is media for good in is data for good in Nigeria? What we want this formula to create to okay, what is data doing? And then you join our community, joining working I'm in the working group of design for my country, for energy for my country. And what is technology really do less if it's causing any problem? What are your thoughts? We believe innovation. So we've seen that tech is just all about innovation, new AI, new technology becomes a civic duty that you Africa's problem. So Tech for Good Africa having such a we believe that we're shaping our own solutions to look like how we open and we'll just accept it. You know, crude oil created currency out of it. We Africa cannot create those type of standard spread out to the West. And I believe we can. Stay and design are the new drivers of prosperity. If we can connect data to the identity of people in a particular way, this is the way that will drive and interesting ways of prosperity, hiring community first. So we're very particular about leadership. And knowing that as a leader, having more money for yourself is about how empower my community. How as a leader, you'll be even we develop values by empowering ambassadors. We want to empower more ambassadors across the 54 countries of Africa. Say that technology you want to build now is going to help eradicate corruption. Want to do something for agriculture that has decided to pick that up. We did not is backing you up. And if we have a strong community, we can challenge many of the technologies, right? And so on and so forth. Another leaders to drive sector transformation. We have the formula sectors. If you know about the sectors, 11 sectors of the economy, we sectors. So we take E equals MDQ for health and how to be oriented about that they're participating. We're partnering with organizations to scale civic inviting them to the ones that we've built that is still yet to be see more civic tech. Embedded Echo ID, and you'll be seeing more of that. What we use this for is to verify data and create a data that can allow you as an individual to be default because nobody verified you, or to say what are the verified data of Africa, which has limited us from many. Where we are right now in Africa leads to all of us. I think I think is a big deal. So normally initiative you're saying, they got to probably come from the Western world. Maybe they granted them access something before they now found out that it was to now find out new ways of. And one thing we know is not you cannot gain something from someone if you don't show that there's really a problem there. I think we've had years of grant. There is problems in African countries. Not use them for those things. So we've to have this verified place where it would come to a place where they're like, before we give return impact. So a UK can say women in this community or do grants anymore. They can't say some sort of return on investment. So showcase that you helped some women, showcase you help also here talking ESG and environment. So if you can start to see funding from a lens change a lot of things. So this is one of the embedded platform that we've built here with the Echo platform for data and also the Echo ID, where we're using trust to the programs that we do here at Tech for Good Africa. Now, ESG tech to be think tanks and cycles that you would join, research and collaborate for Tech for Good, energy, media, data. You do some of that. National Women's Day, where we bring women together and they can contribute to doing tech and even skills and also women. We do strategy now for 2 years. So this year we're expanding and we're going to have the Tech for Good Africa to become a leader in equals MD. So we do enter all into tech, which is a program for people to get into tech, to join our membership, to participate in tech in different countries, mostly university, most award. I've mentioned about the academy. We also we at Tech for Everybody lead. So you can come to Tech for Good Africa as an ambassador. That's this program in my country that's for good, or data for good. We're doing more around just even data for good, AI for good, design for good. And we're happy to be here with you we need to help you do that. This is why we're here. The exciting things there, because we want to be as a thing, as an organization, doing a lot of master classes this year, knowledge that we have. How can you be a leader in tech? How can you do data ethically? Sets the hybrid mindset for tech of those training during this year as well. That we go on the website. Please, if it's on the group chat inside of the portal, you would see you can join into the WhatsApp group. Just one-time fee for the whole year, and it's 100 naira, 10 naira money for a Nigerian. But we just take that as a commitment for the whole. Join us, pay your 5,000, get access to participate in many of these things, access to our community, access to our form, documents and so on and so membership part. There's also other levels too, so you can join our working group. Now, what happens in there is okay, this is coming to the bootcamp, I think. So with our working group, work in those thematic areas in projects. We're doing energy in 90 project around that, solving a problem. You can bring out logic. It is the working group does that. You can also join our working group. You can which is where you can see there is you're a speaker, you're a trainer, you're a lecturer, or you just love to just facilitate our curriculum, help us shape programs more certified and so on and so the strength of the educational information. And then the final part is the advisory board. We have a selective process, but we would end with that. You help us shape the community decision making, help us to do advisory board sort of shapes with Africa, and is the sort of the secretariat. So again, there's so much to do in Africa. We welcome you all to join in. I think I've done Tech for Good Africa. Again, we're really just Africa. So join us and design some of this program in your country. Join us and let's shape a world solving problems for real, not actually solving problems, and that we in a more verified and structured way. Okay, thank you. All right. Apart from that, let me just speak to a little bit ESG in tech. Let me just move past all these speakers, the slides that were created. Before I go is this year ESG in tech is not just your 6 weeks training. So for the next week of energy and education, which is just for sector, how is ESG affecting it? Understanding the education around ESG, about educating people on ESG. What is ESG itself? First week. So next week, I think we'll do media week, where we talk about ESG media, how can we do more media on ESG, and so on and so forth. So now each and every one of you guys will join into each groups of this to design for that. So we'll talk about that. But after the ESG incubator program, where we're trying, or we will be incubating, green leaders will do is that high potential idea or type that they're trying to do, or they are scaling, whether it's a data technology, scale ESG. And trust me, many technologies that can exist, but there's so much that, and I'm sure maybe by the end of this 6 weeks, you will come up with some sort of ESG technology, our minds, or help us do ESG better for capital, or ESG for media, or creating a media about ESG, or you're starting a data, or you're doing designing graphics about ESG. That's why ESG in tech is a solution, focus on ESG. Project like one of our speaker here is doing, going into such a project, whatever we want you, the leaders, and share your idea with us. We'll be sharing that in the session today, and it will just be social media. If you know anyone that is they're doing a prototype or they have a tech, apply to Green Leader Incubator. The incubator will provide its mentorship, advisory, whether it's ESG and AI advisory, what you can build, access them because we are connected. We'll also showcase your solutions and partners, which will be pitched during, and we'll also make sure that it will support you Olamide's phase, which means that I need to shut up. Let me just say the final part about the caps thematic areas I've mentioned of E equals. Choose whichever you know. People be always act to your capacity and capability of your. So really check yourself. ESG, what am I good at? Am I good at data, design, digitalization? Am I good at the energy part, right? Choose the right thematic area. You're in that group doing your capstone project you've not understood. It would show you information, even as you work with other team members. How is ESG in this thematic area? You're just passionate about wanting to know more to one of those capstone group. And this year, the winner of the capstone project for this would also be incubated from Tech for Good Africa. So who would, as a capstone project, so the best so make sure that in your group you are betting out solutions for your location, doing the geopolitical zones of Africa. So it could be that it's Mali that Tech for Good Africa launches that project. Olamide, thank you. I'll hand this over. As I mentioned, sign up a family, join us, help us build. We trust you to be able to switch in Africa and bring Africa to a place, help our own people. Thank you. And I'll be here. I'll be here as we continue. Olamide, back to you. Thank you.
So it's really insightful to give. So thank you. So thank you. So we have your workbook to what's next week. So just so that we can settle into from next week, it's going to be will go live. There will be 6 groups to be expected to meet up within yourself a topic. So quickly, you would then apply your knowledge of innovative specific challenge as has been. Another bit is you will be verified by the judge. So in this last 10 minutes, in the 5 weeks of you can expect to work away with at least 50 key needs to know everything associated to it, ESG ecosystem. And we've had Dr. Maya really speak to that, connecting, including our lawmakers. So you see Dr. Maya is in regulators, company, society, and even at the right in driving sustainability system. And I've seen what are the pillars of ESG. We've had the process, so it's environment, because we don't want to assume in for ESG in the role. Okay, so your very first time interacting with this, it is for you. Okay, so sector or industry meant that you live and work in. G is governance. So and governance, those are the 3 pillars: impact and long-term. I think that we balance all 3. Now that we know what ESG stands for, the second thing, SDG goals. So if engage with the SDG, these was set by the United to say that from and I'll pause here. Any of the 17 SDG goals, government goals, any of them that you can just drop chat. Alimot says yes. So what is SDG? Right, SDG 2. So if you're writing, just write SDG 2. So let's list those: good health and well-being, the goals. SDG 11, sustainable cities and things. Hunger. Which one are we missing? We have one, we have two. Okay, 4 is quality education. Okay, we have 2 people saying 4 is, one is saying it's quality education. So right now, and okay, wait, we have accuracy. So thank you. Okay, so can we have someone put all, and again with the goals, I hope we know 4 years from now, there will be at the United Nations to reevaluate, right, the actuals, what are the implementation. So I need someone to put all. Thank you so much. Faith. 1 is no poverty, 2 is zero, or is quality education all the way. Now, how does this have to be looking at this? These have been set to address the social challenges. It means that solutions, and even when you do capstone projects, do come up with your capstone project. It's okay as a group, maybe down on this and saying that we can infuse. These are innovations. The third core, net zero. So net zero between our greenhouse gas emissions successfully removed from the atmosphere, striving to reach a net zero state. There's a lot in the hope to tackle climate change and sustainable future. So with net, part of the outcome from the United Nations 2015 are 0.5 degrees additional of our temperature. It was really what was set as the base. Everything we do, so even with polluting, you must all balance such that you can extract from the 5th concept that know and live here with is what we call the scopes. 1, so the GHG protocol, 3 different types of greenhouse gas. So scope 1 refers to your running your car that's powered by the exhaust from that means that you control it. If you don't do XYZ, your direct scope 1 emissions in that sense. Scopes associated with purchase of your steam, heat, the cold, in the colder and in the warmer climate. It refers to emissions that are a result of active owned or controlled by you. Concepts are essential is because, right, it imports this accurately. Concept are stakeholders, or the people that you refer to as whenever you're putting together SG, either your blueprint, how you actually want to make a company or as an individual. So that are affected by your operations, they are stakeholders. Those that partner with you are stakeholders. The employees that work with you, stakeholders. The communities are stakeholders. So when you identify these stakeholders, put them in my agricultural, agricultural produce at 1/3 of the total emissions in tons, while your cows have excreta. All of these also to emission. The other and the significance of an ESG to the stakeholders and value is what we refer to as materiality. Materiality, we then have reality and double materiality. These first 10 concepts, larger 50 that you'll get, are some of the things that you have mind as you're coming up and saying, oh, I'm in else. During the session study, and just look at the evolution companies, and I've been privileged to work at Unilever. 2015, really when we were going intently on the sustainability, came up with quite a number of adoptions. So I believe, and just how you can implement that in company over the course of the inclusion that is required, equity, accessibility, how do companies handle criticism, criticized for its lack of diversity, company address the issue, considering to launch a facial recognition, what are the ethical related questions you should be asked before you proceed on that kind of undertaking. And then application of ESG principles in it. You'd see this in your workbook that also just a tabulated where you're writing the current opportunity that exists. I'd mentioned this as we cannot solve our problems with the same thing. So as we step into more ESG aware world, I would want us to take ownership, think, collaborate, start to take ESG transformation that is going on your environment, in your community, organization. So till next week, take the conversations is a wrap from us. Everyone for joining in, and we will see you again next week. Thank you. So picture real quick. We'll turn on their video.
3 minutes just to help everybody with this question being asked in the group chat. The capstone project and the group, if we could just do it 3 minutes, give people an example of what that would look like. So our formula equals strategic for how you can discover. Many people are saying I'm an ESG consultant, but you tech to do one of it. So when ESG, there's always some tech around it. There's a tech around it, whether it's the engagement or you're doing media, and it's that you're creating narratives or you're influencing people. So here, Tech for Good Africa, for you to know, joining something like media, that you'll be thinking of option. So how do I shape and accelerate ESG adoption system? So we translate ESG into clarity, or how can we use how can we prove behavioral shifts through ESG? So for ESG, or you're doing something like a for it. I don't know. These are just suggestions, but in media, this is what I have to bring out in the capstone project. So you're doing things like measurements, evidence. How do we make ESG more measurable and verifiable in Africa? Yeah, we've mentioned about the echo concept here, training on data that week. You would hear even how we use that to track. You are creating an ESG dashboard for a business, creating alternative metrics that from the ones that we have. We have Sustainalytics that can measure maybe not even going too far and say, okay, or ESG in farming, or what are the pipeline? Is there maybe there's pipeline for environment, for governance? That's data. I'm just giving. So okay, I've done past 3 minutes. So design them. So maybe things like a UI platform or a policy that's designed for thinking like things like removing frictions. What would the design ESG? I would say with the design guys, place of policy. How do we design policy? How do we create a blueprint? Look like? I know with digitalization, look at things of how do we scale ESG impact. Your presentation as a digital team it could also be maybe one of the ones I would love to see is if someone allows people to chat with bots around ESG. We've not seen have that type of automation. Maybe taking repeated for ESG and I'm just talking about if you're in that digital around technology, automation, and focus on the outcome, right? How energy that's measurable. Energy part now is two sides. So you develop a solution of like we want to put a renewable energy and solve the problem of ESG type of energy. That's how do we increase the energy of ESG? It measures a way that we measure the way that ESG growing, whether it's in individuals, young people with disabilities, tailor it that way. So I hope this gives an how you can use if you whichever participating in your capstone base. Most importantly, I'll ask you that you think about tech do I use for the work do I use for ESG in tech, and then that would inform you about okay, if I want to do more of this tech, how this tech foster and also rub off on me and my skills in the long run. I hope this helps. Over to you back, Olamide. More than 3 minutes, didn't I?
So right into our picture session. Do you want to see the videos coming up? Here with us. I think I'll feed this to you too.
Okay, so we are going to put on their cameras, please. Let's try our best to put our cameras on. Let's do this real quick. See some beautiful face already. HP looking awesome. I don't know where you are. You look like something. Adekola, you're definitely in Nigeria. Soronke Arafat Ola, definitely in Nigeria. Guluma looks like he's in it. Did I get that correctly? I got it. I'm prophetic. Don't play. Ali Sudan, definitely Nigeria for sure. Anna Ibuku is looking like she's in Nigeria. Messi is in California. She and Olamide. The answer. Louis, she has even put it there. Let me know. And it's definitely in Ethiopia. Another Ethiopian brother. Roy Otieno is in Kenya for sure. He's definitely in Kenya. Roy, are you not in Kenya? You're in Kenya. I know it. I know them. Guys, I'm waiting for your picture. I'm just using this to wait on your camera. Messi looks like a boy. No, she says, are you in Zimbabwe? No, okay. She's not answering me. She's definitely in Nigeria. Teresa in South Africa. No? Kenya? Zimbabwe? Okay, I'm just trying out the. Where are you at? You're in Nigeria? You missed that one.